Greetings, mortals. I am Nathan, the ruler of the underworld. And today we'll be having an early chapter reaction to the newest chapter of Four Nights of the Apocalypse, chapter 101, titled Cracking Hearts. Well, I would call it a bit more on the bursting brains or something like that, but if we wanna pretend like the reason why the heroes are committing war crimes is because they are heartbroken over Jade's death, well, we can all pretend that's the case. At least I think so. Is anyone actually able to pretend that? I guess. Let's get into this early chapter reaction. No, though, I'm not certain how accurate these translations are, but I think these are the same translations that would have appeared, that were appearing a little bit later, but who cares about that? Anyways, let's get into this chapter reaction, shall we? We first start with the narrator saying, the death of Jay, who'd been laughing with them just before unbearable feelings wait upon these boys and girls. I mean, I don't know if that includes Gawain, but I guess most everyone else probably. The Holy Knight will save the world, come to a new town. Loves until now, that's just promotion for the next volume. Well, for the current volume, I guess. Get about those details. Although I wouldn't really. Although I do have to. I think there's like a little save the world, so we'll get into that at the end. But just I'm very peculiar that there's these little how save is kind of used in this sentence. As then we have the covers the page be first of all on a weird kind of place where there's like a bunch of like small little pillars of rock with a bunch of his cheapers around him, like 5 of them technically, but yeah, he's sitting and looking at something. As the narrator says, in search of scenes unseen. So yeah. Now we start this chapter off from Lancelot Gawain's perspective as they are looking at well, technically it's a salamander, the fire spirit, but to everyone else it's gonna just look like a bunch of fireworks. As then we have Gawain going into her sitting position while she's flying, and she's like, "That was a fairly high level flame spirit art technique just now. Was it that gloomy seaweed hat called Chion?" Which is funny how disrespectful she is to Chion, which this is probably why Gawain is my favorite other 4 Knights right now than in other things, but this is probably why. Because she's like the only one who actually shit talks Chion, while everyone else kinda like they kinda talk bad about him behind his back, but it's more like, you know, in that like nice way. Like, I wouldn't really say that he has that he does anything but shit talks us. Well, Gawain is like straight up just insulting him. And to be fair, before anyone kind of exaggerates, I feel like this is meant more as Gawain being like, oh, this is a more significant technique than you'd expect. Like, you know, pretty sizable. Nothing she couldn't handle is with how casual she is. Although there's no makes me think there was a similar combatant in the Chaos Knights that also uses spirits that she not met knows about. Since I don't see how she would know about it otherwise. I mean, for God's sake, she didn't even know about the guy who created the sacred treasure the 7 deadly sins used because she confused them with a baker, for God's sakes. So yeah, anyways, then we have Lancelot be pissed, like, that more, I told him to catch the enemy, not kill him! Which is kind of funny how like casual Lancelot is, but still, that is true. Although to be fair, it's gonna be fixed in the ending as well. Anyways, then we have Eol, who I guess kind of joined the other two, or was in that or sent there or whatever. And she's like, I don't believe this. Not one of my comrades was killed, even their brainwashing was undone. As she looks at it, and well, they may not be killed, although they look very close to being killed. As we see all of them on the floor, like we see, I believe the 2 of them, I believe Galant's nephew, we see him emboldened into the stone as there's like a giant crack on his head, helmet, whatever that's supposed to be, with one of his hands also being down there. Okay, which now makes me wonder if this is supposed to have been like I'm trying to wonder if that's I wonder if that's supposed to be like earth magic that was used to encase him in, but neither Lance nor Gawain have used it so far, so I don't know. We see the one that looks like he's related to go for and also born in into the ground. We see the guy who I think one of the guy who was in the game also unconscious. As then we see the other two who look to be relatively original also on the ground. So yeah, they were all beaten up and undone with and their brainwashing undone. As then we see the one other guy, I don't think it's not the one, it's the generic devil looking guy, say, I recall being driven by anger and hatred into attacking them with no regard for ourselves. I guess they're now regaining this consciousness. As then we see, I think the guy who was also in the game say, we are still notorious as ruffians in the demon world. So I guess it's supposed to be some higher ups. Not really. Like some people had theories that these might be like the new Ten Commandments from Zelda, but by the sound of it, it just sounds like they're more like they are known in the demon world, but it's kind of like the weird things known amongst the holy knights. It's not like they're known, but it's not like they're anything major. As they would see Galan's nephew say, my body hurts and I can't move. Which is honestly pretty much the only truth. As they would see one of them talking, saying, if the king of the demon realm finds out, it won't just be a scolding for us, and to have been saved from the curse by chaos by children. As we see Gawain looking smug and Lancelot just looking behind them. Although, not which. Oh, yeah, I mean, as I said, there may not be high ups. The Dems referring to Zeldris, it does make me think they're at least somewhere in the military rank. Although, again, it could just be weird things, although they could just, or they could be the new Ten Commandments. But I'm going to go with a case of just being a new weird, but the weird things of the demon army. I mean, that would at least explain when Gilon's nephew is there. But yeah. So now some people might complain about how this was off screen, like this was foreshadowed about, but we don't even get to see it. We just see that they were defeated here, which one we all kind of knew they were going to get overwhelmed. Like if Tristan in his, just using his ice skin, was able to defeat Iolde without any real issues. And the fact that it's literally Golan's nephew, I don't feel like there would be that big of an issue for Lance and Gawain. We kind of like this would be literally a chapter of the demons striking down, but then being a mere like taken out. It would be like two-page spreads at the end of the chapter with them just being beaten. But some people said that it would kind of ruin the tension with Jane's staff, but yeah. Needless to say, yeah, they will not. It makes sense for me because I just gotta skip the battle. But anyways, they have Iole turning her, and it does seem like she has an eye underneath her hair, as she tells them, thank you for the bottom of my heart. Should it be heart? I attacked Tristan to save my brethren, yet you saved them when you could have killed them. Right, I'm not sure exactly how they remove the brainwashing. Maybe Gawain has a spell, since I don't think. Do fairies have anything that remove brainwashings? Because I don't think they can. Well, Gawain does have a bunch of spells, so I feel like it probably was that. And then we have the other demons class starting to slowly rise up. That makes sense. I mean, the demons are supposed to have a regeneration factor. Although Iolde still doesn't seem like she used it. I do have to wonder. Although I do have to wonder now if maybe the god forgot that demons have regeneration. Although right now I think that's actually only a thing for the high up, so that they should be. I mean, Galan's nephew. But whatever. Maybe it's just weak or something. Anyways, they have Lancelot telling her, we realized they were brainwashed because their movements were all careful and controlled, even though they were unconscious. Of course, if you tried to kill us, if you were sane, you'd get no mercy. As they in the all three are having like shivers, like oh my god, which I don't really know again. Like why would they be surprised by that? So yeah, well we have the three of them, Galan's nephew, the other guy who's in the movie, and that generic demon guy was being scared. As then we have Lancelot telling them, besides, if the info you have is really real, we can help you too. As we then have Earl tell them, yes, there are no mistakes. It's called give and take. Actually, I think that was said by Lancelot because of the different wording, but yeah. So there's some mutual benefit here, as Lancelot tells them, we'll go over the details tomorrow morning. Call us as soon as you and your pals are out of town. AKA when you can get killed by Arthur because, too much information would be bad for the story progression. Anyways, then we have Lancelot back into his fairy form as he flies away from the demons. It's like, yeah, well, I'm beat. I'm guessing just sleepy though. As then we have Gawain telling him, "Don't forget you are of pudding." Seriously, going it's late at night. You're not. You can wait until more morning. As Lancelot just is like, "Yeah, yeah." Which I gotta be admit, it's kind of funny how sibling-like dynamic. Like, it's kind of funny how casual both Gawain and Lancelot were. Like, I began to have a lot of people thinking that those two guys like butt hats the most. But it seems like the two of them generally have like the most like, we have comments and arms of all of them. Like Percival is more like a little brother, honestly, to Lancelot, and Tristan is like and Lancelot constantly butt heads. But here you have Gawain and Lancelot who are kind of like even though again the power gap is wide as all hell. Then we see Iole looking at them from behind, be like, "Oh shit, we're still gonna be killed, aren't we? Alpha's gonna come here and kill us or someone else. Like we're that." As they have Iole saying, "I never thought users of such power existed." What did you? Or I get kind of Lancelot since he seems to be actually extremely powerful by every standard, like in universe, even amongst if even you put him in the same ballpark as Seven Sins, he's rendered extremely insane. But why would Gawain betray that insane? Although consider the fact she wasn't her buff form might mean that she just has spells that are extremely, extremely, extremely broken that she just doesn't use because the power from the sunshine form. Which actually can be kind of funny if she, in her small form, uses spells that are so overpowered that like it would be like if Merlin actively tried to win fights and wasn't like plot stopped by her buff form. That's like when she just uses pure destruction powers or stuff like that. But regardless, then we have Gawain saying, it would seem that the others found the prince and all regrouped." As then we have Lancelot again also like, aren't we one magic source short? Point out to Jade, as then we have panel where we see Jade's dead body laying on a bed, as we get a shot of him, like a full face. As then we have Gawain and Lancelot looking there as they're like realizing why there was one magic source short. As we have Lancelot be like, what happened? And then he says, someone say something, which is weird since you'd think these Lancelot could read minds and maybe those bubbles are just weirdly done, but I feel like Lancelot would know that would just be reading what happened in no one's minds, or maybe no one's thinking of it or something. As like we see Tristan looking down, we have Isola crying, we have Anne next to her comforting her as Donnie looks at her sad, and then we have Percival looking at Tristan as Nonsense looking away, and Chiam gets also looking at Tristan. As then we have Isolde falling on her knees. It says, "Sir Tristan, it's all my fault because he protected me. Jade is." As then we have her crying. "Ah." As then we have Anne giving her a hug, and she's like, "It's not your fault, Isolde. We were suddenly attacked when we couldn't sense them enemy's magic. They're the ones to blame." As then we see that Talek wasn't able to use the glove to escape or anything. She's just, well, I guess, was sitting in the corner quietly. She's like, "Eep!" As then we have Anne pointing her finger at her, like, "It was her partner who killed Jade." So yeah, she's all scared, which again kind of makes me wonder if that is supposed to be taken as a 19-year-old or something. As they have they're screaming, wait! You know that glove that make Dove laugh? It's a magic item I got from Arthur that makes you 4 or 5 times stronger. Amazing, right? I'll let you have it, so let me go." and she's trying to like plead her case, or well, trying to like get out of it since she very fairly assumes that the guy has tried to kill her or do some torture stuff, which she's not really wrong about it. To like, or at least to like kind of not have them blame because again she's pointing her fingers at Tanef, which the funniest part about it is that Tanef is probably like the least involved in Jade's death when you actually like break it down. Like maybe you can make a case that her poisoning Isolde is the reason, but I feel like that McDuff would have done still the same thing, even if that wasn't, the case. Like the only thing you can really say is that they were like sitting down, but I feel like he would have attacked them if they were standing up or walking anyways. As then we see that Chion put it in his pocket as he like rustles it out. Which kind of funny how no one mentioned that she was abandoned by her comrades. So calling him apart is like not very nice. As then he pulls out his glove, is like as they're like, yep, that's it. As then we have Chion putting the glove on, as Ten acknowledges that. As then we see Chion committing a war crime as he punches her in the face, to face that sends her into the next bat, as she's currently as well as flashing her panties for one last time as she hits the bat, as she's like, whoa! As then we have Chion be like, cool, so even a wimp like me can send you flying. So I guess this Chion is acknowledging that he's not really particularly strong physically, although I wouldn't really call Tenek really that big of that impressive a person to just send flying with a punch. Honestly, I would say that it shows more that you are a wimp physically speaking because you didn't actually break anything or kill her from that. I mean, McDuff literally called her someone as originally powerless as her, so yeah. Anyways, there we have Tenek saying, stop! She's helpless. And then Chion goes to her as as Chion gets like, in the last chapter I gave Chion props for, kind of being a guy who's not gonna, for being like a guy who, his ideology is that anyone who pretends like they are morally good means they are most likely pure scum, or are pure scum inside. But here I'm really getting the kind of vibe where it feels like that thing I really hate in stories where essentially the heroes are everything good and bad is decided by if the heroes like it or dislike it. As then we have Chion walking towards her as he tells her, there's no point because you are unforgivable for, I guess, being on a different war site. Because I mean, like legitimately speaking, like what exactly can Tenek even do anymore? Like, there's no bugs or animals to control to help her escape. She's outnumbered, she's outmatched, she's literally alone. Like at this point, any action command answer is just like pure sadism and war crime, but that's besides the point. Anyways, I have Tristan telling him, wait, Chion, the one to blame is me. As Chion's like, Sir Tristan? Instead of Tristan feeling bad because, there's some arguments saying he's responsible as well because, well, besides the whole he wasn't there kind of situation, Tristan actually explains to us with, if I had Ion stop her jamming magic sooner, then he could have sent her and come to his rescue or stuff like that. But we also have the fact that, he split up initially. Like, the whole reason why they were splitting up could have really been broken as soon as, like, really quickly. Like, I feel like if Lancelot was next to Eo from the very beginning, he would probably be able to sense it and knock her out because he realized the jamming for the capture her or something, but nope. Anyways, then we have Trailer cries like, please forgive me, Jade. As then we have Percival being like, why didn't you stop her? As they have just telling her, explaining to Percival, because we were afraid King Arthur would overhear us. She's our stepping stone to Camelot. As they have Percival getting excited, like, oh, so it was because of usefulness. That's right, that makes sense. As then we have Lancelot telling them, seems like pretty strong intel, no doubt about it. No, because I guess Lancelot also got some information. So I guess now they have captured the Chaos Knight, as well as got an ally with a group that knows some way to get into Camelot. But to be fair, it does make sense, as we've seen with Macduff, there seems to be some other way to get into Camelot, even if you don't have the mark. As they would have Chion be like, as expected, Sir Trishan, a single as they would have Nonsense telling them a single piece of information in exchange for one's life is not worth it, which is true. As they have Chubby all pissed. How dare you say that? Which is funny because kind of ironic how Chia is pissed now here, but when Percival died, he was like, get over it. He he was unfit. If he had not come here, he would not have died. Which kind of makes Chia look like a hypocrite, if you ask me. But anyways, we're just saying, Nauseance, you bastard! As we have Nauseance telling him, sorry, I'm just being honest. As if Xion grabbing Nauseance by the collar, he's like, apologize, you made it sound like it's Tristan's fault. I mean, like, again, anyone could really be blamed, and I don't even think it says it's Tristan's fault. I think it's more like, he just says the information isn't worth it, the life of Jade, so I'm not really sure if that's how does that even blaming Tristan again? Like from the 4 nights, you can probably blame Tristan the most. Anyways, we have Nas actually slapping Chion away, which again with a boost 4 to 5 times boost is actually impressive. Although I feel that just confirms physically speaking that Nas is already stronger than Chion in the base. But yeah, besides that, Nas telling Chion, so do you think it's right if one of us dies for another piece of information? As they were just saying, nobody said that. No, no one said that directly, Chion, but that is kind of the implication. Like, anyone can die as long as you get pieces of information to get into Camelot. Because that's gonna make it worth it, according to your statements. Anyways, I have Nolan screaming, I'd rather search for Camelot on foot by myself than lose another comrade over something like that. Which, comparable, like, what is more worth it and what's less worth it. As even Chion realizes, oh shit. Although, to be fair, I still get the feel. Although, looking at Chion, I think it's not so much that he doesn't want to respond, just like, shit, what can I say to counter? I can't really have a counter argument. As they have Donnie being like the bro, it's like, I know how you feel, but as Donnie tells him, but we really do need that intel. Basically, like, yeah, it's not worth losing Jade, and I get why you feel this way, but when it comes down to it, we need intel, and this is like the best outcome. As then we have person saying nauseant, as then we have those two like times, well, that one chapter I want to say where nauseant was talking with Jade about love and stuff, as we have Jade saying she's always crazy for such Christian. I never stood a chance. As we have another saying, as he's remembered those statements with, I can't stand that. Jade had his entire future stolen from him, didn't he? I mean, to be fair, if this is what you're referring to as his future, he was going to just be the guy to the side, be supporting at the front, but be angry in the back. Like, damn you, Christian, you're lucky, you're grace, and you're everything. But then we have Dolly telling Nazians, and right when we had become friends. Which is very nice to see that they've, Daniel Orca accepted them as friends. All that stuff. Then we see a panel of Isolde and comforting one another. As they have Percival look at Jay again, he looks sad. As mini Percival's are starting to come again. Now, I'm not sure if this is like just him. Maybe there's try again to heal or like and fleeing after. Like, should I heal try again? Or they're starting to, or if they are just like on their own coming to emerge, because it really is starting to feel, because I'm pretty sure these J-Personals appear at this point whenever they want, not so much whenever Percival needs them. Because I think that was the same thing with Tannic, like one appeared before her and explained it to her without Percival even like, I don't think sending it one at her. So yeah, anyways, then we have Percival saying, we didn't talk very much, but you watched over everyone. Although I'm not certain if Percival and Jade even talked once. No, I think Jade did ask him if you're a friend or foe. But that's about it. But yeah, anyways, then we have Percival again crying. He's like, let's all stop fighting. I bet Jade wouldn't want that. As he has like a little smile on his face. As then we have and be like, yeah, yes. And then we have kind of like both Nausea and Donnie like being kind of calm, with Donnie having a bit more of a smile. Like the guy, it's not like because he's less affected by this, but it's more like, yeah, it's best to just smile. Anyways, then we have the chibi Percival golems that seriously need to be investigated by professional sorcerer before anything unexpectedly negative happens to everyone. As then we have one saying as they are flying all over the place, as even Percival is shocked that I'm starting to speak, which at this point I feel like they're just acknowledging they are speaking on their own rather than them this being the first time. As we have one saying, as another cheaper was emerging for him, it says, why would it bother him? His soul's already gone to heaven. As in, all Lancelot takes note of that, as Donnie and the others are also like, huh? Huh? As the chief also started to explain what a soul with wingments might winger in this world, but his wingments probably weren't that big. So basically, like he kind of everything he wanted was already kind of done. Like he didn't have any reason to remain here, which is to be fair true. I mean, he kind of did what he first claimed to do when they were children, when he lied about him saving being his soul. But here we have, but now he actually saved her, so there was like no reason to remain, and that's what the chief person was saying. I'm also kind of surprised how much they know about death and that type of stuff of details. Also, there might be some retcons in this, but I also about how the soul and death works in Sanity Sins. But I think that's more meant to be like. I think it was even explained in Sanity Sins that in due time a soul will disappear, even if they do have something that would make them want to remain. And I think, and so I'm not exactly sure. I need to probably look back at it, but I think it was explained that yeah, if your soul die, if you die, if you have some remaining wegmans according to J. Percival's, you will stay longer, but you will eventually go into the heaven basically. But anyways, there we have Percival be like, "What are you saying?" Which I don't really know what's wrong with what they said. I mean, I guess the why would I bother him kind of deal. But the rest, I feel like it's relatively saying like normal things to say. It's more like from a perspective of a person that doesn't care. Like, honestly, I could easily see the Gawain saying this type of stuff as well. Without that, why would it bother him? Because Chief Percival is, for some fucking reason, the most brutal and evil creature, seems to be the most evil creatures in this group. As they have Chiambi all angry, like, so those are your true colors. Yes, those. Totally nothing else. I mean, it's not like these two Percivals are smarter than him. Oh wait, they are. It's like these two Percivals know information that we don't. Oh wait, there are. Oh wait, no, wait, they do. So yeah, I don't exactly think that's Percival's true call as much as just Chief Percival's being good knows what. Anyways, then we have Chion going there to punch Percival, which you might make a claim that this is like because he's emotionally unstable and Chief Percival did not exactly say the nicest things. But he literally tried to kill Percival when they first met. He made him himself that he wanted to kill him. I don't think exactly that he wouldn't do it regardless. Also, I'm quite surprised he didn't try to kill her. He didn't punch Percival in the last chapter either. Anyways, in that sense, Percival to Lancelot. Uh, and then we have Lancelot telling him, well, telling Chion, you're wrong. That's not how Oh, actually, that's Percival, though it looks like that's coming from Lancelot for some reason. But anyways, Percival tells him, you're wrong. That's not how I feel. And then we have Chion saying, liar! That magic is like your other selves. So those are obviously your real feelings. Okay, now this does leave some possibility on what exactly Chi Percivals are. But the thing I kind of want to, what I wonder is if Chi Percivals are more like everything that Percival doesn't possess in a physical form. You know, like how everyone has good and darkness. Like it's not like no one is born pure good. There is always gonna be a certain level of corruption and evil inside everyone. I kind of wonder if maybe the reason why Percival can be so pure and innocent and all that is because his chibi Percival is just a physical manifestation of all that evil. So when they manifest, that's like the evil, the dark, the villain Percivals essentially, just in physical forms, because otherwise Percival doesn't possess that kind of qualities. It would actually make a lot of sense why what they are. Although again, if Qian is using this on the logic of others, based on basis of other magic, summoning types of spells and that type of creatures, I don't think this could really be put in the same tier, because, like, okay, Qian already knows that Percival's magic works differently. After you die, your magic is supposed to be just disappear. It's no longer supposed to be a thing, and yet Percival still, still was still able to revive himself after death, and that to a point that he actually remember, like there's no I mean, again, you could say that he's not thinking rationally and thinking like, looking bad at it. It does actually don't make sense to follow the same laws for these golems as the other people with similar types of magic. But here I'm like, you do have to wonder about that stuff. Anyways, the person was telling him, "I'm not lying." Which again, I have to wonder why they would be admitting it anyways. Like, why would it, like, again, when did she Percival's ever say someone's true feelings? Like, what the hell was that statement about the, you know what, animals are smarter than humans because they don't want to die? Like, what the hell was that? Like, to Chion's logic. Anyways, then we see Anne finally leaving his soulless side, as Jian screams to him, "Who's gonna believe you?" Although, to be fair, again, the things he said aren't exactly like the most heartless. Like, yeah, the thing about why would it bother him is a different thing, but otherwise, it's like he at least died with no regrets, kind of things. Anyways, and then we have Anne defending Percival. She tells Percival, Percival doesn't tell lies. I guarantee it. Because that's literally why she's attracted to him, or like the first reason why she was attracted to him, because he never lied. Like he was pure white, like he was no darkness at all. As then we have Anne looking at her and the chibi Percivals who've now, I guess, reduced their numbers. She's like, "For now, you shut your mouths." And chibi Percival's like, "Watcher, our whips are sealed." As he's doing like a little zipper kind of fake expression from one of the chibi Percivals. Which again, it gives me the impression they must have some other consciousness there. Maybe a split personality type of thing. But yeah, anyways, as then we have Lancer again being another one with, powers that can judge what person's actually thinking. With mind reading, it tells him if Anne says so, there's no doubt about it. Which now makes me think that Nausea Lancelot cannot read Chief Percival's mind, but he can read Percival's. But he says, Anne is telling the truth. I read her mind, basically. As they have as Lancer tells Percival, don't you worry, Percy. As then we have Percival looking at Narnia and Narnia as Donnie's like, as Percival's like, Donnie, do you believe me? As then both of them say, of course. Like again, they've traveled with Percival more than Chion, so they would know how Chion feels about it. But it's weird how no one mentions the fact they talk things on their own as well. But anyways, then we have Gawain cutting this stupid discussion, this emotional discussion, and people's ignorance of how weird cheap Percivals are. As she flies over to Ted, she tells them, "Anyway, more options to getting into Camelot we have, the better. We can't Knight of Chaos after all." As she's going towards Tanafe, she says, "You wench." As Tanafe is still terrified, and she's twitching. As then we have Gawain be all chibi and go lucky to, I guess, reduce some of the tension. And because she's like the one that's like the least affected by this, I forgot to one of the panels in the post Leona's battle chapters was literally emphasizing how separate she's from everyone. And she tells she tells Tanak, "Where's the mark that King Arthur gave you? Tell us, or I will sentence you to be stripped naked, licked all over, and paraded through the streets." Something tells me that the first part is still on the discussion table for Gawain. As then terrified, he responds with, "On my back!" As then we have Knight saying, "Wait, why didn't that bearded guy in the glasses use his mark to get away when he left, uh, when his left arm got blown up?" As well as like any other, as well as Talisker or, well, not Talisker, I guess you could make the case Talisker wasn't Fish, just Fish. I mean, you can probably make the same case for Fish. Like, why didn't he fly, use his mark when, escaping from the Dark Talismans? Well, escape from Lancelot when he found out how overpowered Lancelot was compared to him. Like, you'd think that would be logical. Like, I mean, there was some time he could have used that. Or maybe he didn't want to scream it out loud as it would disappearing, but at that point, I feel like escaping as soon as possible would be the best option. So, yeah. Anyways, then we have Tarak explain to us, Macduff's mark was on his left arm, convenient. As then Gawain's like, "I see!" As then we have Gawain saying, "Now then, shall we open the gate?" Uh, as then we have, I guess Tarak saying, "Right?" Which she agrees with it. That, although again, it's weird that they want to open the gate already, since, okay, I know Lancelot should probably not be able to be defeated by anyone in the Camelot that isn't King Arthur. Even King Arthur is questionable if you have some fans. But like, okay, legitimately speaking, how long do you, with the exception of Lancelot versus being able to be defeated by Arthur, how long do you think the rest of the characters would be able to last in Camelot, the home world of Arthur, the place where pretty much anything can be your opponent? Like, if Arthur wants to, he can literally have the knights fight for days upon days, living creatures that appear out of nowhere as soon as they arrive. So I don't know why they would want to enter already. Anyways, then we have Lancelot saying, "Something bugs me." As the person was like, "What? Those golems I made? Because they seem to always act differently or know stuff they shouldn't." As then we have Lancelot saying, "This seems too easy." Yeah, because you got to capture the easiest to capture opponent imaginable. As then we have Lancelot saying, Lancelot saying, "I can't imagine Arthur wouldn't notice." Which is why you probably should just pull the stuff up and leave the discussion for tomorrow. As they have Chion walking towards Tenef, as they have Chion screaming, "Open the gate now!" As Tenef's like, "But promise me you have to keep it a secret that I open it for you." Which I doubt that Alpha cannot sense it, but I get what Tenef's trying to say. Like, try to get some way of escaping. As they have Chion telling her, "Like hell, why should we negotiate with an enemy who killed an ally? First, she wasn't the one who killed them. Second, the one who killed them, well, you already killed. Third, negotiation with the prisoner is important because, well, why else? Because of war laws or those stuff. I mean, there's no like reason for anyone to negotiate with you. Like in this situation, then negotiating with her would probably be the most useful thing. That's how you get information. I mean, just look at Gawain. She managed to scare Tanak by simple humiliation, and she got information out of her, and it seemed like Tanak was going to open the gate immediately. Well, here you are saying that you just do what we told you to, and then you gonna get killed, which is like gonna help. Anyways, then we have Tanak starting to cry as she tells him, "If he finds out about this, then I'll..." As in, Chion's just like, "Then choose who will kill you, us or your master." Again, like, you're a terrible negotiator. You can see this guy's no military professional. As they have Tanak be like, "Ugh," as she starts to use her magic, like, "Open the gate to the internal kingdom before me. Lead me and accept me." Me, as Nani was actually ready to punch, which are these guys seriously so fucking stupid to go there immediately? Again, I feel like someone should have stopped Chion from doing this because again, like you're not going there. And maybe they just want to confirm that she can actually open the gate, but that's but that's again like someone's gotta know. Wait, someone just open the gate but then go in through it. That's suspicious. Again, it would just be a problem. Anyways, then we see uh Tanaka's back as that mark starts to glow. As in, she tells them, the gate is opening. And she thinks to herself, while they're distracted by the gate, I gotta run for it. Which I guess means that she was like, okay, if I'm gonna get killed by Alpha, or if I'm going to get killed by them, I might as well use the opportunity as they are focusing on the gate opening to run into the game and then immediately close it, or I guess that's her plan. I think her plan is like getting in there as soon as possible, as that's why she was kind of going staying up on her knees. I mean, it's desperate, but like, what other options she has? Like, it's the only thing she can do. But it's not like it matters because immediately the final page of the chapter is we have her face. Well, from her hat, by looks of things, we have a bunch of bugs, frogs, snakes, worms, butterflies, and all that, like popping out. Like we see snakes coming off her mouth, we see butterflies coming off her eye sockets. Like everything is just bloody. We're going full overboard here, people. As then she's like, blah. As then she falls, slumps down. As the end of chapters, as near as the king's merciless judgment to begin the next chapter titled The Mad King. Probably mad at the fact that there was no big consequences that Gawain was alluding to, well, Guinevere alluded to with her power, since everything just seemed to, like, I guess, go out negatively for Arthur. But even that, it mostly depends if you consider find out that, oh yeah, Arthur booby trapped the spell if it is ever used against them, or uh, or if he it ends up killing doesn't end up killing those demons. But yeah, so essentially it all went nowhere. So essentially, Tena surviving all that was just to show us the consequences, basically making it so it's gonna be more difficult than just having a Chaos Knight to open the gate. So befriending Pelgard to open the gate, yep, that is not going to work. Makes me kind of wonder how. Well, except if maybe Percival will unless it's gonna be some kind of infiltration mission where person was gonna agree to go with Belgar and then secretly try to find a portal they can use, open a portal from the other side the to their world so they can enter and all that. But that's besides the point. As yeah, that's all that happened. Which, not gonna lie, I have to feel bad for Tanith here. Like she spends this entire arc just getting beaten left, right to the center. The and now dies in this brutal way with bugs and everything just coming off her brains and all that stuff. Like really thinking, Tia was really being a dumbass, but he wanted to open it as soon as possible without even giving someone to check it beforehand. But yeah, Tanak is that now. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Now the next chapter, I feel like it's the title of it kind of confirms what's gonna be. It's gonna be either it's gonna be most likely the captors reacting to this and their own stupidity for thinking that was a good idea to open the gate without even checking first, because they're idiots. It's either and then it's gonna be focusing on Arthur either be angry at Guinevere for there not being any like big things. Like all it really happened was there was no positive things for his side except if you include killing Jade, but there's no like big I must not do this again type of thing. Like it's not like the world is so forcing it to still end the same way. It's just kind of this way. Which, fine enough, depending on how you take that prophecy that was originally supposed to happen with Lancelot handling the two of them alone, does make me wonder if this something like this was still supposed to have happened. It's just that now it's just that it was supposed to originally be both Macduff and Tenek who used it and got killed by that, or not. But yeah, and probably also something to do so the demons will not be able to be useful for or something on those lines. But we have to wait until next week to see it. So yeah, Anyways, I hope you like this chapter reaction. I hope you leave your thoughts on this chapter in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more recent future. And that's it. I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.